Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to the first episode of Just Read 3. In this series, what I will do is I will look at 3 books and then I will rank each of the 3 books that I've read and then decide if I think these books belong on my personal bookshelf. All right, so let's get started today. The first book that we're going to talk about is Frida McFadden's Never Lie. I don't know if you're familiar with Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden writes mysteries, and she's an author who I really enjoy. Typically, her books are quick reads. And so, in this particular book, and I'm just going to read a very brief synopsis, and yes, I do have to take notes for everything. Um, the 2 main characters are Trisha and Ethan, and they're looking for a house to buy. They're supposed to meet their realtor, and there's a snowstorm occurring outside. Um, they get there, their realtor's not there. The house that they're going to is the house of a famous psychiatrist. And so they get stuck in the snowstorm, and so they have to make themselves at home in this particular house. The house supposedly has been abandoned for a little bit. But anyway, so they stay in this house. It seems like 2 or 3 days. Um, they do not have contact with the outside world during this time period because the internet is out. Um, they make discoveries while they're in the house. They make discoveries about the house itself. And while they're there, they discover the life or find out about the particular psychiatrist who did live in this house. And they learn about her, and apparently the psychiatrist's been missing for a little bit, and so they discover things about her life. As a reader, I found that this book was enjoyable. It did. As a reader, one of the other things that I like to do is I like to kind of see if I can figure out the style of the writer. And since I've read a lot of Frida McFadden, I took a lot of time trying to figure out, can I figure out this mystery? I was mistaken because I was not able to figure out the person who committed the crime in this particular book. For those who've read the book, I will say this: I followed the wrong initials, but there was a twist in there that I did not see coming. As I mentioned, there was a twist in this book that I did not see coming. And so overall, let's see whether or not I think this is a book that deserves to be on my bookshelf. I think it does. I think it does for several reasons. First of all, the book itself is an easy read. It only took me a couple of days to read the book. There was the unexpected twist that I like in a mystery, and so yes, I was very surprised at the ending, or who done it per se. And Frida always does a good job of um, go into the character's mind in 2 different ways, meaning that she has one point of view and then she switches to the other another point of view toward the end of the novel. And so when she flipped to the other point of view, I was really surprised at who was actually the person who was speaking at that time. The ending itself, like I said, was so surprising, which is why I believe that this is a book that really needs to go on my bookshelf as a recommendation. The second book that I'd like to speak about today is called Before We Were Yours. And this book is by Lisa Wingate. This is typical women's literature, but it's historical fiction. And I will say this was a very nice book to read. The book itself is based on an orphanage scandal in Tennessee. It's about a family of 5, and the book itself begins in 1939, but it's about a family of 5 and family of 5 children, I should say, and who are taken from their family. The mom is having some issues during childbirth, and so she and her husband go to a hospital. The children themselves live on a riverboat, and so they're on their own with for a little bit while the mom and dad are off, so the mom can have her baby. And while they're there, a young gentleman does come over to the house, but a friend of the family. And then the law actually comes and they take the children away. So all of the kids are taken into this orphanage. The parents do not know that the children are taken away because, like I said, the mom is having a child right now. So the book focuses on the oldest daughter. Her name is Rill, and her experiences as she attempts to protect her siblings in the harsh environment that she's placed in the orphanage. Um, Along with having that point of view in the story, there's a second point of view, which I found really interesting. The second point of view focuses on a person named Avery Stafford. Avery is connected to Rill, and for the reader, you need to find out how they're related to each other. So we have one point of view that takes place in 1939. Then you have the other point of view that takes place in the current time period, and in between they do mix at some point in time. Both time periods kind of blend together, where you're put into the modern time, where Avery does meet Rill, and then you find out the relationship that is between them. Um, the way that they blend the plots is very nice, and of course, I'm not going to give a lot away. I want you guys to read the book to see how the plots kind of mingle together. So the overall question is, would I actually put this book on my bookshelf? And yes, I would, and I would do that for several reasons. First of all, I really enjoyed the relationship between Rill and her family. They did a great job of showing how that she was a protective older sister. Um, I like the connection between the past and the present that is in this book also. I thought they did a really great job of bringing both together. This is historical fiction. Sometimes I am a fan of historical fiction, and sometimes I'm not. In this case, I was a fan of the way that they incorporated the true life events that did occur and how they did give the history of it. Is done really effectively. Toward the end of the book, I liked the book so well that I started to underline some key quotes toward the end of the book. I thought they did a really nice job toward the end of kind of, especially when Real was older. I thought, older meaning like older teenager. I thought they did a really nice job of just kind of giving her some profound things to say and to reflect on her life. And so found that I was underlining some of the things that she was saying. And and I did like that the book was able to invoke some sort of emotion for me to actually start underlining. That means that there was some emotion felt while reading the book. And so I do recommend this book for others to read. Um, and so this is the second book I've read. The third book that I'm going to talk about is another Frida McFadden book. This is The Locked Door, which is right here by Frida McFadden. And once more, this is another mystery. And I'll give a little synopsis of this book. Um, Nora is the daughter. Nora is the daughter of a serial killer, and she finds this out when she's around 11 years old. Um, when she finds this out, and the police take her father, she changes her last name, and she's raised by her grandmother. And then Nora becomes a doctor. And then, while she's a doctor, this is many years later, murders begin to occur that are similar to those that occurred during the time her father was committing them. However, her father is actually in jail, and she does verify that her father's in jail. So the overall mystery is who is committing these murders and why. And so, was I able to figure this out? Actually, for this particular book, like I said, I look for patterns. I was able to figure this one out. Um, the question I didn't know was the why part, and so that part was a little surprise, but the mystery itself I was able to solve. Would I put this on my bookshelf? The answer would be no for this one, because even though it might look a good mystery, I was kind of disturbed by this book. There were some disturbing things going on that bothered me. Um, and another reason why I wouldn't, because I was able to guess most of the who for this book, and then I've read a lot of books that are just much better by her. And so, if I need to rank all three books in what order that I would think that a person should read, um, I think I would put Never Lie first as the first choice, and then Before We Were Yours as the second choice. Then The Locked Door would be the third. And this is just out of these three that I've read here, because that's the way I'd like to do this series. I'd like to just pick three books, talk about them, and let's put them in an order and see which books do I think belong in my personal library. So I appreciate all of you guys for coming in today. You'll see me periodically just coming online as I have read three books. So this is what I'd like to do with this series, Just Read Three. So when I just read the next three books, you'll see me back, since I would have just read three books, to talk about them and to talk about which books will be in my personal library Thank you guys for watching today, and I will be back soon for the next episode of Just Read 3. All right, have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.